Hi, my name is Kathy, and I am called an Associate College Administrative Officer, and I'm at Porter and Kresge Colleges. And my role basically oversees the residential student life and the experiences that you will have as a student living on campus.
And I'm Tony Sujisaka, and I am a community assistant, or more generally known as a residence assistant. And I live in the Porter community, specifically the transfer community. I live with the residents, and my job is to oversee the community and deal with any issues that arise and various other things like programming.
Excellent. We're going to spend about 15 minutes or so, maybe 20 minutes, going through a short presentation highlighting the experiences living on campus and some specifics that you'll probably want to know. And then we want to open it up for questions after we go through the presentation. So, please, as we go along, remember your questions, and we'll take time to go through those and give you as much information so that you can make the decision that you want about UCSC. So first of all, we have a variety of housing options on campus, and we'll talk a little bit more about those. But before we do that, we'd like to just highlight what campus housing can do for you and what kind of experience that we hope you get out of it.
Well, from my personal experience in housing, coming in as a freshman, I came in as a freshman, not a transfer, so full 4 years here at UCSC. It really depends on where you live because of the residential housing, which we'll get into a lot later. There are 10 different colleges, and where you live really can impact what kind of people you meet, what kind of places you're gonna go, and what even maybe your major, depending on what people you come in contact with. The residential housing does not necessarily mean that you're gonna have to choose a major in that housing, but so for example, I'm from College 8, which is a little bit further away from everything, means you get a lot of walking in. It's also the one of the less forested part of campus, if you know that the campus is very forested. So it's a lot more sunny. I met a lot more science people at that college, so I was a science major at the time, and I really got a sense of community that was more sciencey and not as very much social because of the building structure as well. So I think building structure also really impacts the way you're gonna make your living time here as well.
And one thing that you'll experience when you come to college in general, whether you live on campus or not, but we do hope you choose on campus, is you're going to really focus on growing as a person. And sometimes you'll notice that experience right away as you've had your first quarter and you see some of the changes in yourself. But a lot of that awareness also happens after you graduate from college and you look back on the experiences that you've had and you realize how much you've grown and the new things you've learned outside of the classroom as well as inside the classroom.
Going to events and programs and stuff that you're always put on is one of the best ways to get to know your residential life at college, because some of the first people you meet are going to be your residential advisors, which is what I do, live in the dorms with you. They interact with you all the time. They're the people who you go to usually, generally for problems with classes, social, roommates, all of those kind of issues. And so we're a big part of what you're going to be, what your first experience of college is going to be. So going to programs and getting social right off the bat and getting in contact with your college staff, I would say, is really how you're going to want to get into the community and events. Just go to a lot of events and meet people.
Oh, it didn't advance. Oh, there we go.
That's
Sorry
There
about
we go.
that. So what are the colleges? We have 10 residential colleges, and basically those are small communities within a larger campus. So if you could think about them as mini universities, so small university type experiences within the 15,000 plus students on campus. There are a couple things that are unique to a college system. One is that you receive academic support, which are your academic advisors, your general advisors, that you will get to meet within your own specific college. The nice thing about our college setup with academic advisors is you get to see the same people on a regular basis, where at other institutions you may only get to see an advisor one time, and they may not necessarily know your path that you'd like to study. There's also a residential education component, which Tony's talked a little bit about the experience that you'd have with staff and programs and opportunities that exist as part of housing. And then there's other opportunities about what we call student engagement, and those experiences may exist as a club that is unique to the college, student government, service learning opportunities. So an opportunity for you to get involved in your smaller college, but also being able to have the opportunity to get involved in campus-wide clubs and organizations. So you get a chance to have that home feel as well as a larger campus feel. And then we also have dining halls within each sister pair of colleges, and we'll talk a little bit about dining in just a minute. But every sister pair of colleges has a dining hall, and it's nice because you have kind of that full experience. You have your dining hall, you have your living room with residential education, and you have your academic support.
Yeah, I think you summed that up very nicely.
Yeah, thank you. And speaking of academic support, Tony's going to tell you a little bit about his experience as a student and what that's felt like for him.
Okay, well, one of the things on here is the freshman core class. So this is one class that you take amongst the other residents at your college. Oh, this green one. There we go. Okay. So yeah, as I was saying, sorry, I'm now stuttering. Anyway, freshman core class is one of the classes that you're required to take when you come in. It fulfills your C1 requirement when you're a freshman, which is your writing 1 requirement. And you take it fall quarter, your very first quarter here. You're required to take a plenary course, which is one part of that course that you take with your entire college. So every freshman in your entire living area, one of the 10 colleges, every individual college has one. You will take a course with that class, and that course varies on which college you're in. So mine was we had a bunch of guest speakers who came in and talked about books that we were required to read, and then the environment, as college 8's theme is environment and society. So all of our guest speakers were based off of that. And then there's a second part of the course where a professor from the same plenary course that will be watching you, will be grading you on writing assignments, readings, discussions, and other things that you've done throughout the rest of the quarter. Fall quarter is also where you're going to be taking, of course, your first college classes ever. In the summer, when you do your summer orientation, if you decide to come to UCSC, they will give you a tour of the campus, and you will also select your first classes, which is really exciting and at the same time really nerve-wracking. I remember I didn't have any problems getting my first classes. My classes were also quite big, so it depends on what major you are. But those courses can be anything. But usually they're just general education. You want to get those out of the way first.
A couple other things, as I mentioned before, you have academic advisors. They're focused more like generalists. They're going to make sure that you're meeting your general ed requirements, and they're going to help you get to graduation. You will also have a second set of advisors, which will be your major advisors. So you're actually supported in both ways, in your major as well as to make sure you're on the path to graduation. And then some colleges have peer advisors, which are students who are trained to be able to assist you in registering for classes, asking questions. So it's nice to have that peer-to-peer feedback and experience versus just having your professional staff experience.
Let's see, there's some additional classes offered in the colleges. So along with the writing part of the college course, the plenary and the core class, there's also there are also different courses that you could take just for that specific college. So for example, at, Merrill, they have the radio station. So if you are interested in being working in a radio station, having your own channel, so that it's run through KZSC, which is our university-run radio station. And through that, you can actually have your own station. You can play your whatever kind of music you want. You can even make announcements. And through that, it's a really good way to get involved. And every different college has different courses. So look for your options through different teams as well.
In the Residential Life program, we have a variety of staff members that are there to support you. Tony explained that he was a resident advisor, is a resident advisor, and has been one for a couple years now. And we also have other professional staff that live within the college. One set of staff members is called CREs, or Coordinator for Residential Education, and they're similar to hall directors at other campuses. They're professional staff members that live within the college, and they're there to offer support and assist you as you have your college experience. They also work with the RAs and assist them in planning programs and making sure that your needs as residents are taken care of. And then, as I had mentioned, my position is basically overseeing the whole residential community. We also have staff members at night that are called CREs, or excuse me, CSOs, and they're there to help in the evenings to make sure things are safe, help you if you get locked out of your room, and just ensure that that the college environment is really conducive to your academic studies. Anything else you want to
No,
say?
actually, that was perfectly wrapped
Okay.
up again.
One sec while I slide comes up. Excellent. So you want to talk about things you can do when you're involved in the college?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are a few things listed here. The first one is college government. So every college has a government. Most of them are called senates. You can call them parliament. There's one Kresge parliament exception, but on the senate is where every resident who belongs to a college is automatically a member. Porter accepts all members because of the transfer community, and everyone who lives there may not be affiliated with Porter. So through that, the college governments make important decisions based on money. So every student who is registered at the college pays some of their student fees to that college government, and then what that college government does is they can allocate that money by offering funding requests each quarter and every year. They get that money and they distribute it to the campus organizations. Those organizations do have to apply to get it, and they go to the college senate, present, and the members of the college vote, or the members of the senate vote, and they either fund it a little bit, a lot, fully. It really depends on the government, but and it also depends on the event. Service learning. Do you want to go over service
Sure.
learning?
Some of the colleges have programs that are based on service learning and may also offer credit. For example, colleges 9 and 10 offer a number of service learning opportunities, including they just had the opportunity to go on a service learning spring break trip. So that may also play a part in your decision as to which college you're interested in affiliating with. And then there's a variety of programs. Each college has what's called an activities office, and they're responsible for planning college-wide activities. Like we have college nights, which are special dinners in which the community comes together. You may have dances. They may support and help students plan their own activities. But there's lots of ways to get involved, and also some of the colleges have different co-ops. So as a student, you can look into seeing, do you want to be a part of the music co-op or a pottery co-op, and take some of your interests and be able to bring them into that kind of setting. And you're going to find a lot of opportunities within your college, both structured or informal. As a student, if there's a program that's not there and you want to help create it, or a student club that you think would be great for your college, you can also you work to try and create those in your own community as well. A little bit about dining services. I'm going to go through kind of the nuts and bolts, and then Tony's going to briefly share his experience as someone who dines in the dining hall. We have 5 dining halls across campus. We have one for each sister pair, and it's basically like buffet style. You can go in and out as many times as you'd like. It's an all-you-can-eat. If you're living in the residence halls, we have a 5 and 7 day meal plan. And then if you are living in an apartment, you can also choose a 55 meal plan. 7 and 5, 7 day allows you to eat 7 days a week. 5 days allows you to eat Monday through Friday. And 55 is 55 meals per quarter. So they're specific meals used one at a time. The nice thing about our campus dining services is we have high organic options for students. Some of it comes from our farm on campus. We're also a very vegan-friendly campus and have been honored with a variety of awards around our dining services.
One nice thing to mention about the 50, before I go into that, one nice thing to mention about the 55-day meal plan specifically, if you're in apartments, we not only have dining halls, we have these things called cafes. I mean, you might know what a cafe is, but on UCSC we have cafes which you can pay money, or what we have also flexi dollars that come with every meal plan. Flexi dollars are $50 that you spend on the campus, and they roll over every quarter. So if you never spend them, you'll have $1 million by the time you graduate. And you can actually use your 55-day meal plan at those cafes, and they make about $8. They usually serve more specific food, and they actually make the food in the back. It's more like a restaurant sort of setting rather than dining hall where it's all pre-buffet for you. So that's one nice thing about the 55 meal plan. But about the dining hall specifically, I had the nice fortune to live at the college. Only two colleges are open for later nights. All the dining halls are open from, I'm pretty sure it's 7 to 5, or no, 7 to 7 every day. Some of them are open till 8, and then two of them, which is at College 9, 10, and then the one at College 8 is open until 11 p.m. And having those open really late really helps me because I wake up a little later, but I also stay up a little later. So being able to eat later has really helped. But the dining hall experience is really nice. Having 5 different places to go to eat every day with different options is really nice. So then if we have this vegetarian vegan option of meatless Monday, it's actually been changed to healthy Monday. But that option, if you are a really big meat fan and you don't want to have to not go to a place without meat, there are 4 other places you could go to eat. Right. And they're all not that far away from each other. They're all, if you were to take a walk from each one, they're about 5 minutes apart. Yeah. One sec while our slide switches.
And remember, again, when we get done with the slideshow, which will be pretty shortly here, is we're going to take a lot of your questions. So, think of your questions, and that's one thing I like, is I really like your questions, because then I can answer what it is specifically you're looking for. So we have what's called the transfer community at Porter College, and transfer community started about 4 or 5 years ago, and it's a living environment where students who are transfer students and who choose to live on campus primarily will live in that community. It's based on all affiliations, so you don't have to necessarily be affiliated with Porter. But why we created it was we realized transfer students have unique needs that are very different than first-year students, because you've been to a community college for multiple years, and you only have a few years once you get to UCSC compared to a student who may have 4 years. And transfer students understand each other. So we created this environment in which transfer students could live together, connect together. Most of the transfer students are already in their major, and so they could help support each other specifically while they're advanced in their major. There are other options for transfer students, 2 other options. One is the University Town Center, and the other is the Village, and those are 2 non-college housing options. And if you're interested in that, you can look online at our housing options to find out a little bit more about those communities. The other thing is we have a STARS program, which is a program that's focused on transfer and reentry students, and they're located at Kresge College, which is right next door to the transfer community at Porter. And I work with the transfer community. Tony also works with the transfer community, and it has been a huge success. We've had anywhere between 450 and 550 students live within the community each year. So it's very popular for our on-campus transfer students.
And living in the community, it's actually, I feel like they have a really strong bond. It's like when you're a freshman, you come into college, you're brand new to college. But then if you came to college or you're a transfer student, you don't necessarily have that new college experience. But if you're living with a bunch of people who are getting that college experience, they may feel either intimidated by you or like you're kind of not fitting in. So having that community really helps make the transfers feel at home.
When you're looking at your college affiliation, I always get asked which is the best college. And I can't answer that because it's different per person. Some of the things that folks may want to take into consideration is your interest areas. Does the theme speak to you? Do you like the idea of what the core course may offer? Are there opportunities in one college that you might not get in another college in terms of activities? There's all different kinds of reasons, and you have to find the one that speaks best to you. Each person has different interests in the geographical location of a college, in the college theme, the location to other campus facilities. So again, take all those things into consideration and look on our webpage to get more information, because when you pick that theme, it's important that that's what you're going to be affiliated when you come in your freshman year. So take some time to really figure out what it is that speaks most to you.
And if you do decide to come here and you take a campus tour, or if you've taken a campus tour already, make sure you really know where you are on this campus, because this campus is very large and not very confusing, but you can get lost in which place you're at. So make sure you can ask your guide where you're at and just get a feeling for which college really speaks to you. Because when I first came here on my campus tour, I didn't know what the colleges were. I just kind of knew how they felt in comparison to the other ones, and I just my orientation was at the college that I chose eventually. So College 8 was the college I chose, and so that was where my orientation started and ended. So I got a good feeling from that. But make sure you know where you are, in proximity to the campus, and also if you're interested in another theme, ask to see that theme, and they can definitely guide you in the right direction. I just got more nasally sounding.
It's okay. So this is one person's experience, a student who's been with College 9, and I think if you asked any student from their college, they're going to tell you why they think their college is the best, and we're going to have like amazing things to say about their experience. And so if you know people that have been to UCSC or are current students, ask them about what they love about their college versus why I should or shouldn't go with another college, but what speaks to them, and take that information and really figure out where it fits within your interests.
One thing to note about this person specifically, what they're saying about all the international experiences that she's had, is College 9 is the theme of that college is international. That's probably why everything she's saying is international. So if you go to a different college, you're not necessarily going to have the same experiences, but you can always get those experiences. International or EAP, our Education Abroad program, that's open to anyone. You don't have to be specifically in the international college to go abroad.
We have a couple different other housing options. Some are available to first-year students. Some are only available to sophomores, juniors, or seniors, or juniors and seniors. So when you look online to see what kind of housing options are there, make sure you check out what the requirements are. But we have something called the Village, and it's a really tight-knit community. It houses 9 people in each smaller building, and it's located in a quarry near our campus farm. Students really enjoy that community because you get to know each other quite well. There's a community kitchen and a lot of opportunities to bring a community together. University Town Center is located on Pacific Avenue. It's off campus, but it's a university facility and has all the experiences that you would have in terms of support and staffing as you would any other housing community. It's a nice opportunity. It's juniors, seniors, and transfers for folks who really want to get an experience with campus housing, but also want to feel like they're off campus and have a little bit of a town feel. Family student housing is also available on campus, and family composition can vary, so that would be an opportunity for someone to look further into if family student housing option is something that's particular to your need. And then different colleges have theme housing, and a couple are listed there. International Living Center that Tony mentioned, and iFloor, which is at colleges 9 and 10. Stevenson has the Rosa Parks African American themed housing. There's a Native American housing option at Merrill College. In each college may also have some sub-themes that, they do all have sub-themes, and you can find out more information on their specific webpage off of the campus housing webpage and learn more about what those options are. And we're almost coming to the end, so we're really excited to get your questions.
Yeah.
So we do have off-campus options, or in terms of a resource for off-campus options. It's called our Community Rentals Office, and they have an online tutorial on how to go about looking for off-campus housing. They also have some listings of rentals that may be available in the community, how to understand a lease and kind of what the landlord-tenant responsibility and relationship is. This is a really great resource if you've never lived off campus before or are nervous about looking for off-campus housing. I highly recommend that you check their webpage out. It's one of our best resources we can offer.
It's also really good to look because housing in Santa Cruz is expensive. The living conditions are nice, but with nice comes expensive. So having this nice resource on campus or just having it for students in general is a really helpful thing, and especially in a suburban city.
And most of our students that are here at the university are going to live on campus. So you will find that we have, of the 15 plus thousand, at least 9,500-ish or more actually will live on campus. Folks have a 2-year housing guarantee when they come in. And many of our students will also want to live on campus for 4 years. So those opportunities exist where you don't have to move off campus right away. A couple other resources, ways to stay connected, giving you opportunities to do a little more research into what speaks to you, what resources they can offer, and web pages are really important, so please take some time to check them out as well.
Well, we are ready to take some of those questions, and we have questions who are coming in from our virtual audience.
Excellent.
So this is exciting, and I love this first question. I think this is great. This is from a student who asked, can you give a couple of adjectives or attributes for each of the residential colleges?
Wow.
Oh.
That is a good and a little tough question. So we'll start with Cowell and Stevenson are sister colleges, so they're a pair. I would say some of the things that I think of when I think of Cowell and Stevenson is that they're having some opportunities to create new themes. They have sustainability focus. They're working on creating a garden. So I think kind of with what's important to the campus of focusing on sustainability and community focused, I think is pretty exciting in their community. You want to talk about Eight Oaks?
Yeah, so I was actually saying off of that, sustainability is the college eight themes, sustainability and society. So kind of how the environment is affecting society. Oaks is very diverse. Has some of the most diverse ethnic cultures on campus. Moving on to Porter, where we work, very artsy. There's a lot of murals. We have a lot of spaces to create murals at Porter. In the stairwells where the little numbers are, where you like walk up the stairs and you see the floors. We have little murals where you can actually apply to paint the number with an art design. So one example is on the 3rd floor of the freshman building, they have a 3 with a giant butterfly in the middle of it. So that's a pretty cool design I really like.
Kresge is similar to Porter with artistic creative folks. They're also very sustainable focused, really interested in how they relate to the world and how social systems impact students and other community members. Crown is a little more science focused and technology based. Yeah. They have some really great academic residential programs happening there in terms of roundtables, study tables, bringing different majors together to be able to support each other in classes. And Merrill also is very diverse in population. They have some amazing programs that other colleges don't have, like a pottery co-op. So a great opportunity there. 9 and 10 have an international flair, and which is really great. They're our newest colleges. They're about 11 years old now. It's really hard to in a couple words talk about each college, but at the same time, each one is unique, and we also want to be careful that we're not stereotyping each college, because we may say one group is a little more creative than others, but you're going to find creative people at all the colleges, and really a diverse group of students and diverse majors, and great experiences at each one.
So more questions. A great question from a student who's asking, coming in as a 24-year-old transfer student, am I too old to live in your on-campus housing?
Absolutely not. We actually have students that are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s that have lived within the transfer community and currently do. There are some options for students that are 24 and older to request to potentially be considered for an apartment option at their home college. Very limited, but you can request that through your housing contract. But our transfer community really ranges from 19-year-old transfer students, and as I said, we've got students that are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s living right in the residence hall.
More questions coming in. Do you give housing options on a first come first served basis, or if I applied within the priority deadline, is housing guaranteed?
Housing is guaranteed, and students have a 2-year guarantee, so their first 2 years that they come to UCSC, whether you're a first-year student or a transfer student. There are some housing options where you may have to submit a short supplemental application for that theme, and that's really to just try and make sure that the folks that are interested in that theme really fit what the direction they want to take that theme in. A lot of the themes are really interest-based and based on space availability. The time that you submit your application does not necessarily give priority over a person who has submitted your application afterwards. So example, submitting your application on the first day that the process is opened does not get you any further advanced in the assignment process as someone who submits it on the last day. So we look at the whole pool, and based on interests and room types, and we have a questionnaire that you'll see trying to find interests where you complement each other, all come into play when we make those assignments.
So a student just asked a really great question. They said, suppose I choose Merrill College and after the first year I strongly dislike it. Can I change my college affiliation?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. There is a application process you do have to go through. It is a specific deadline each quarter. So usually, I think it's the first 5 weeks you have to complete the application for each quarter. So you can only change between a certain deadline each quarter. But yes, you can definitely change anytime you like. But one thing to note is if you wanted to actually change your housing for the next year, you would have to change your affiliation before you hit the spring quarter deadline, because in spring quarter is when you're going to be applying for housing the next year. So for an actual negative example, so I'm a college age student, but because I've been working at Porter for the past 2 years, I would have liked to have lived at Porter my third year or my fifth year, but because I'm still a college age student, I will not be able to do that. So I should have changed in winter quarter. So note just when the deadlines are and where you want to be in that certain amount of time, but keeping that in mind, yeah, you can always change.
But one thing for first-year students to understand too is your first quarter with your core class, you will need to live in the college that you're affiliated with, because all affiliates take that class together, and it's part of having this experience together that's very unique. So let's say the person who wants to affiliate with Merrill has an interest in changing after their first quarter. You can apply for that, but that first quarter you need to live within the community and stay within that affiliation.
So if a student decides that they want to change a college affiliation, they can. Does the college affiliation affect how they graduate? Is the student's asking, or how does it affect them throughout their entire career at UC Santa Cruz?
Excellent. When you graduate, your degree is conferred at the college. So you will graduate with the folks that are affiliated with your college. So if you are interested in graduating with a specific college, you'll want to make sure that your affiliation matches that college. There are opportunities for students who are not affiliated with the colleges, a college to go through another college's graduation, but there may be some limitations on that or a small fee associated. So it's really important, if there's a specific college you want to graduate is to be affiliated with them. But the nice thing is you get to graduate with the people that you've grown close to within your college, versus some campuses will have very large graduations that are in stadiums and you don't have a personalized experience, where your college graduation will be very personalized.
Also, with graduating, you can also graduate with your major. Most majors have a individual graduation where they will have people in the major. So if you really don't want to go with your college, you don't really know many people, you really got close to your major if you're a small major. So I'm a linguistics major. I'm actually a pretty small major, only about 100 students in the major. But within that major, I could graduate, or this year it's a ceremony, but there's a celebration, not a ceremony. But I could go there and graduate with them instead of at my college where there's over 500-600 people graduating. So you have your options for graduation, but yeah.
And your class is actually a little smaller, between
Yeah.
350.
Nice. So we have students who want to know, can you eat in any of the dining halls, and is the food actually good?
Yes, you can eat in all of them. You can also eat in all of the cafes as well. So that's about 10 different dining options you have here. And yeah, it depends on where you go and what kind of food you like. So, for example, the Crown Dining Hall or Crown Royal Dining Hall tends to serve more international food, or at least that I've noticed. And all the menus are online, so you can actually go to the housing website and check out some of the menus right now. I want to say today's a little bit limited because of activities going on campus. But in general, the food is pretty good. They have some permanent items, so College 8 has pizza and a sandwich bar that is always there if for some reason you do not like what they're serving. But generally, the dinners are pretty good, and every once in a while, I think once a quarter, they have what's called college night. And that is when the college closes down to everyone except for the affiliates of that college, and they make really good food with a really good theme, and it's really festive, and it's a really fun event. So yeah.
As a staff member, I don't have a meal plan, but I choose to purchase one because I enjoy the food a lot. And I know of other staff members that do that. So as someone who's not required to have a meal plan, I choose to because I really enjoy the food.
So we have students who are asking, what is your favorite meal on campus? They want to know your specific favorite meal.
Oh gosh. I really like it when they make things with chicken. They do a lot of good things with the chicken here. So, gosh, what is my favorite thing they do?
Wing bar?
Not the wing bar. I do like the wing bar, but that's not my favorite. I like it when they have the breast, like they saute it in lemon and other spices. But they do a lot of things with chicken. I'm a really big chicken fan. So, I mean, again, there's just so many meals and they never stay the same. So it's not like every Friday you're gonna have the same meal. Every Monday is the same meal. No, you may not have the same meal for like a full month, and then you may have vegetarian lasagna the next day. They may serve it 2 days in a row. They may serve it not for a whole another 3 months. It really depends. So, but they do a lot of really good things with the chicken. So if you like chicken.
So we have somebody who wants to know, is there Indian food there? And they hope there is.
Yes. The dining hall basically does, I believe, like a 6 or 8 week rotation. So as Tony said, they never have the same food each week, but there's a rotation, and we do have an Indian bar, and that also can travel from college to college. So Porter had an Indian bar for a little while, and then I noticed it went to Crown. And I like it. It's one of my days that I look forward to. There's a lot of variety of options, both vegan and non-vegan options, which is really neat that they are able to really provide things that fit all dietary interests.
Yeah.
So we have students who are asking, this is a good question, does affiliation with a college require that a student only take that core course with that college?
Yes.
Yeah.
The college that you're affiliated, you are required to take that core course, and each course has a portion of it that they all have the same books, so everyone will have a similar portion of their core course. And then some of your other readings and activities and experiences will be very unique to that theme. So there's consistency, but at the same time the ability to bring in some creative topics and other readings based on your instructor's interests and relating it to your theme.
Also, another thing to mention about that is, there's the big plenary course, which is where you're with everyone in the same course. And then, as I mentioned before, in your smaller sections, they're also divided by level. So if you've probably taken the entry writing exam to come into the college. Based on that score, or if you take any AP English classes in your high school, when you come into the school, you may be placed at a different level of those littler courses than your friends. So some of them, actually, one really nice one is they have one that's a lot more intense. You do, I think it's 2 6 to 10 page papers, but because you're doing so much writing and critical thinking, you actually get your C1 and your C2 just from that course, which is your writing 1 and writing 2 requirement. So most of them only cover the writing 1 requirement, but if you can get into other levels, there's also a writing 2 you can get done at the same time. So
we have a student who's asking, does athletics affect the college you affiliate with? It's a good question.
No. I would say no. No. If you are a sports person, you can join any. We don't actually have any sports teams or majors here, but we do have a lot of intramural sports, a lot of clubs, a lot of athletics here. We have what's called OPERS, which is our gym and recreational center, where we have a wellness center, we have a pool, we have a gigantic field that has a view of the entire city. That I think that's one of the most beautiful places on campus that you could possibly get. But yeah, no, athletics have nothing to do with your affiliation to any college or even your academics.
We are Division III, so we do have some sports teams that are affiliated with Division III athletics, and many of those teams have been very, very successful in their tournaments and games and matches. Tennis team has been very successful over the past years. As Tony said, lots of intramurals, opportunities. Our ultimate frisbee team is phenomenal and very competitive and has done very well. And some students will consider their housing option based on athletic and proximity. So as we said before, you might have it as something to complement your major, be completely different than your major. Proximity, some folks will choose Collier-Stevenson because it's closer to the athletic facilities, but it isn't a requirement that you be affiliated with a certain college to be involved in athletics.
And that's why I struggled to answer the question, because I was like, the proximity of your college does depend on how close you are to the gym. So, but no, it does not affect your affiliation.
So we have a student who wants to know, which one's the more music prevalent college? Which one's the music college?
I can speak about my experience at Porter and Kresge, so I can't really speak to every college's experience, but I do think you're going to find folks at every college who are very musically inclined and interested. At Porter and Kresge, we have very impromptu opportunities where folks will come out into our quad area, play guitar, play bongo drums, and kind of have that impromptu jam sessions. But every college has some type of opportunity. We have Cowell that has an a cappella group, College 9 that has an a cappella group, which is not necessarily something that's at every college. So you're going to find something unique. Some of them have pianos at their dining halls or piano rooms. So it really depends on the students that year and what they like to do and how they bring that into the community.
And also, Kresge has a music co-op. That's what's really nice thing about Kresge. And then, no matter what affiliation you are or what college you're at, Porter Kresge does have most of the instruments, like people who play instruments the most. At least that I've noticed. I've lived a couple places on campus, and I've noticed that seems to be the most musically. Well, people were the most open about their music. They're very out there. But there are also at the music center on the campus. In the basement of that music center, there are all these. It's a row of soundproof rooms, and almost every single one has a piano. But you can also check out those rooms for an hour or two, and just go in and practice your instruments. And it's really nice, silent place. If you want to invite your friends, I think you can fit up to 4 to 6 people in those rooms, depending on which room you get. But it's a really nice place to just have a jam session, and they're soundproof rooms.
Right.
So we have students who want to know, can you explain what the I floor is?
Yes. You
Yeah,
wanna
I can
talk
explain what
about
the
it?
iPhone
Okay.
is. Well, iFloor.
Yeah.
So the iFloor at College 9 is a international floor for first year students, or a floor that is internationally, um, or what's it called?
It's a
Yeah.
mixture of both international students and domestic students who want to live together. So it's a first year area very similar to the International Living Center in the community where it has additional upper class students.
And in comparison, the iFloor is all first years. Like so, as she just said, the ILC or International Living Center is more people who are going abroad who have been in college before, and other students from UCSC who have been here for like a year or two who can apply to live there. If you're a first year student, this is in the first year student dorms, so it's completely first year students.
So we have an international student would like to know, do all the international students have to live together?
No, absolutely not. You'll find international students at every college, and many students don't necessarily want to live with other students that are international students. They want to get a different experience and feel. So you'll find international students at every college, and some will be continuing students, some will be transfer students, and some will be first year students. And again, we really encourage you to think about what really speaks to you, what environment you want to be in, and just know that you're not required to live in one specific area.
And we have students who want to know what exactly comes in a dorm room. Like, what is the furniture that's in a dorm room?
Excellent.
Okay, so furniture that comes in a dorm room is a desk with a chair. You have those. So your desks usually come with drawers. They usually have a separate drawer unit. That can vary because some desks come with it, some desks don't. You get full chest of drawers for clothing. And some dorm rooms either they are come with built-in closets or they have a giant clothing cabinet. So that really varies. And depending on your living situation, single, double, triple, quad, etc., you may get single bed, just a single regular size bed, a single heightened bed, bunk bed if you're in a room that's small enough that you would that has that situated already. If you're in a triple, what you usually have to just maximize the space of the room is you have a loft bed with the desk under and the clothing under as well, and you also have a bunk bed at the other side of the room.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, a bed, desk, chair, chest of drawers, and then desk drawers.
Yeah. All the furniture that you need is provided, and because it's all provided, you really don't need to bring any additional furniture. So that's one thing that you don't need to worry about.
So we have more international students who are
Yes,
asking us
excellent.
exciting questions. And this student would like to know, so if I live on the iFloor, my roommate will be American. Do I fill out a roommate survey, or how are roommates matched?
Well, not necessarily your roommate will be American. That is, depending on how many people live on that floor, your roommate may be another international student. That is determined by the housing coordinator over there, but you fill out, just like every other college, you fill out a housing application for the housing coordinators. And the housing coordinators also send out their individual, when you are coming to UCSC and you're assigned to a college, the housing coordinator there will give you a survey, a separate survey that will allow you to choose your preferences and then give a little statement about yourself and kind of get a feel for you and then place you with a roommate that's pretty similar to your personality. And they do a really good job. They have the entire summer to do this. Yeah, I mean, I had a perfect time with my freshman roommate, and I know some people say they have some issues, but nothing that usually can't be resolved either or like with a residence assistant or mediation, if anything. But I had a very good time. I must say I'm definitely not the only person who did not have a single fight with their freshman roommate.
Mm-hmm. With the iFloor, strongly encourage you to look on the College 9 webpage to learn a little bit more about it. And if you continue to have questions, is to email the staff there because they can answer your questions better than what we can. So please, don't hesitate to direct your questions to them just to get them answered and make sure you feel comfortable knowing everything you'd want to know.
So we have another student who wants to know, are there any dances or dancers on campus?
There are definitely dances. some of the college governments, residential staff, some just organizations on campus like to have dances, and there are many places on campus, a lot of community centers that you can host those dances in. I want to say the time where they have the most dances is winter and spring quarter, just because those are the times when everyone's kind of used to the campus, everyone's getting involved, and then most the colleges here have a dance to kind of break the ice when you first come in. So yeah, there are some dances. Yeah.
In terms of thinking about dance beyond your traditional dance that you would assume, we also have groups, cultural groups that do cultural dance. We have tango, we have a variety of students, and they'll perform on campus as well. So through clubs and organizations, for kind of non-traditional, what you think about going out kind of dancing, there's other options as well.
There are also dancing courses on this campus. That's one really nice thing about this campus is we have a recreational center that you can either enroll in dancing courses, and there are also external other courses. So our recreational center does not only have a gym and a wellness center. You can take swimming courses through the school for 0 units. It's a pass-fail pass. It just kind of encourages you to go and practice your whatever you want to do. They also have martial arts. They have massage classes. That's one thing that really caught my attention when my tour guide said that. They have a lifeguard certification class. That one's really hard to get into, but we have a lot of external non-unit recreational classes. So take a look at our OPERS website. They have our actual new catalog up for spring quarter, and you'll see a million classes that you would never want to get. They have hiking courses. They have a hiking guide. They have wilderness first aid. You can find almost anything that you could think of in there.
Mm-hmm. We are getting more questions from students who want to know, okay, this is a good question, it's a legitimate question. I'm a computer science major. Which college should I be affiliated with?
You can affiliate with any college. If you are looking for other folks that may share some interest, you're going to find them at every college. We find that Crown College does tend to have a little more folks in the sciences, but again, it really depends on what you're looking for. So for some of the colleges, you may be science focused in your major, but you're looking for something that is completely opposite for your experience in terms of affiliation, like being creative. And so maybe looking at not being with other science folks and being able to bring out this other side in you, you may find that connection at a different college. But we do find a lot more of our science folks in Crown College.
I agree with that.
Yeah. But they're everywhere.
So can we choose to live in a double or a triple room?
You can, when you sign up for housing, you can request and provide options. And so what we do is we have whatever's available for that college, and then you identify strongly preferred, preferred, not preferred, no preference. And from there, based on the number of spaces that are available, the housing coordinator tries to match you up based on your preference. Like for example, with single rooms, they're not allowed at every college, so most likely someone's going to be in a triple. And many colleges have a few doubles, but triples are going to be the primary option for our students. But again, you can express your interest in room type as well as theme type.
And then also some other colleges will have some options that others don't. So one specific to College 8 is having a suite, which is when you share a living space in the dorms, which not include a kitchen, just a living area and a bathroom, and then you have 3 rooms of 2 doubles. So if you want to explore that option, again, so some colleges have certain options that others don't. Mm-hmm. So make sure when you're looking up which college you want to be affiliated with, to make sure that they have the living situation that you want.
Mm-hmm. And the last thing on this question is to keep in mind that Kresge College does not have residence halls. They're all apartments with combination of singles, small doubles, and triples, and they can range from 5 people to 8 people. So if you're looking for a more traditional residence hall experience, that may not necessarily be of interest to you as their only apartment setting.
So we have more students who are interested in knowing, if I come with my friend, can I live with my friend?
You can request to live with your friend. We can't guarantee it, but we do our best to try and accommodate that. The way that you would want to to do this is that both of you would need to put each other's names down on your housing application to be considered. So if one person does and the other one doesn't, we're not necessarily going to consider that in the same way because we don't know that the other person wants to room with you. But definitely put that down, and each college tries their best to accommodate that request.
And one thing to note is that you do have to be of the same gender. There is no gender mixing in the specific rooms unless, besides like LGBT hall. I'm pretty sure that's...
We have gender neutral housing, but otherwise, if gender neutral housing is not something that you're pursuing, then they are single gendered housing options.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So a few more minutes left in our text chat. So for questions, so keep those questions coming. We have a student who wants to know, what should I be bringing to college? Like, what should I prepare? What should I bring? What should I leave at home?
Okay. Definitely bring your most comfy pillow. Some really... You want, depending on how many years you want to live on campus, and if you're going to be changing beds, you're only going to have the same size bed for the entire... Like, I've lived on campus all 4 years. I've had the same size bed all 4 years. Mm-hmm. So, you'd probably want to get bed sheets that would last all 4 years. Unless you plan on wanting to spend that much money on actually replacing the bed sheets every year or two. But those are really important. Don't bring too much clothes. You do not have that much space. You have a closet maybe that's about this wide. I mean, you can't really see my hands, but yeah, kind of not that big. It's not that big, and then the drawers are the same size, but the drawers are about this thick. They're not that thick, and they go back pretty well. But again, don't overpack your suitcases with clothes. Focus on other things. Like, if one really big thing is when you first get to college, decide don't bring a mini fridge or a microwave until you meet your roommates and see if they've brought it. Because what I have actually seen is in triples, when 3 people move in, they bring everything. They they think, oh, my roommates will not bring this, and of course you may not have access to your roommates before you get to college. So don't bring 3 mini fridges because you're not gonna be able to fit that in your room. And don't bring your bikes into your rooms. We have places for that elsewhere. So.
Speaking of bikes, if you're an avid biker, you may want to bring a bike to campus. But if you're not an avid biker and you think that maybe I'll just start taking up biking, we do have lots of hills, and I find that many students who bring their bikes to campus really don't use them. So that might be something you want to weigh out as to how much you like to bike. In terms of how much should I bring, I suggest, as Tony said about clothes, is pack seasonally. If you know that you'll have the opportunity to go home at different times, take what you aren't using, take what you don't need home, and bring back what you need or want at that time. You're not going to be able to bring your whole room from home. It's just not honestly going to fit. But maybe bring a few of those things that are important to you with you. But then you can always decide once you get there, bringing back things or having them sent to you, that may make you feel a little more comfortable. If you get to come to campus, you'll definitely get to see a sample room. And if you don't get a chance to come to campus, there are virtual tours online that you can get an idea of what a room looks like.
So we only have time for maybe 2 more questions before we conclude this hour of text chat and video chat. I just want to remind everybody we are going to be text chatting in our virtual Spring Spotlight environment, including in our residential life environment until 8 p.m. tonight. So lots of chances to continue to ask questions. The last couple questions we have though is what do the dorms close at vacation? So are the dorms open year round? Can you stay year round or no?
They do close over winter break, so the time between fall and winter quarters. We do go into what's called campus closure, and folks need to leave the campus for that time, but you don't need to move your stuff out for that period of time. So you just have to leave. We are open Thanksgiving and spring break, so you're welcome to stay during that time.
Okay. So we have time for one more final question that we have about the residential colleges and living on campus here at UC Santa Cruz. And the question a student has is, why do we have the residential college system? Why do we do it this way here at UC Santa Cruz? It's a good question.
Excellent question.
I really think the reason we do it is because we have such a large campus. The campus itself is very large. Having one central large place to put everyone is just kind of impossible because every college is on a different elevation, different area. So having one building wouldn't, or having multiple buildings that technically organized as the same place wouldn't really make much sense. But having all these little communities in different places around campus really gets to build that sense of community at that little part of campus. Like you can always say you have this place to go back to. It's kind of like having if you like that security of having a home or like that place that you can call home. It's kind of like having that. Like, oh, this is my home college. This is where I affiliate with. This is where my academic advisors are. This is where everything is, and it has a dining hall options. It has everything you need.
Yeah, it gives you a small personalized experience, and that's what we want for you to do is feel comfortable, to feel that you are getting personally connected with people in a personal experience, both academically and residentially.
All right. So we have time for just one last piece of advice for all our newly admitted students about living on campus here at UC Santa Cruz. Any thoughts?
Well, I would just say this is really the one time in your life you get this opportunity, whether you're a transfer student or an incoming first-year student. While you're here at UCSC is the time when you graduate. You don't necessarily get this experience again. So take advantage of the opportunity, and we hope that you choose on campus, and we also hope that you choose UCSC.
Yeah, and for my personal experience, living on campus all 4 years, it's really, I've grown in so many different directions. It's crazy. I can't even start to talk about it. It's just, but you grow in a different way. And if you would like to grow that way, then good. If you want to move on campus, that's totally your choice. But living on campus for at least the first few years really gets you your friend base, and it gets you where you want. It gets you all those experiences that you can't necessarily have having to move back and forth between on and off campus. So that's why I strongly recommend on campus.
Okay, well thank you so much for joining us this afternoon to learn about the residential colleges at UC Santa Cruz. Just a last reminder, we're going to be doing text chatting about residential life until 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so take your questions there. And we'll be back at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to learn about International Student and Scholar Services. Thanks so much and have a wonderful day.
Bye.
See ya.